Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so tonight we have the 9 of Wands, which has everything to do with strength. And so let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. All right, we have really potent formations here tonight. So I want to start with this one right here. Okay, we have, it looks like a person sitting. It looks like we have, I was thinking it was an X maybe, but it also kind of looks like a small person. And I feel like it's kind of like thinking about someone, kind of a projection of, whatever's going on in your mind right now. And it feels to me like, now we have the Strength card, but it feels to me like we've had a period of time that's really been kind of a spiritual struggle, okay? I feel like there has been even kind of this feeling of wavering in faith, or at least like faith shaken, right? Something coming up maybe in your life, maybe in the world, or kind of, the residual effects of these tower moments we had previously in the readings from, the last, I don't know, it was like maybe 6 months, a year ago. But really feeling, just depleted. Feeling like you don't necessarily feel spirit in your life right now, okay? Feeling alone, forgotten, maybe even forsaken, right? Like the divine has turned its back on you. And, these moments, they happen for all of us. We all go through these moments in life. I know for some people it can be a real source of shame. Something that you don't want to admit, because who wants to admit? I felt like it was hard to believe in anything. It was hard to feel the love or the faith or the grace in my heart because of, these circumstances. But it happens. If you've ever read about any of the saints, it's what their stories are about, right? Figuring out a way to continue on through these ordeals. So I see this and I feel there is this period of contemplation and, trying to figure out which way do I go here? What do I do here? How do I become back in contact with that part of myself that relates to the greater divine, the universe, God, goddess, and so on. And I feel I don't have any answers really, I don't know for sure because it's different for all of us. But I do know that we have to look for the gratitude in life, the things to be grateful for. We have to look for the silver lining. We have to look for the blessings in our troubles. Because if we don't, it's going to be a hard life. It'll be hard. And it's hard to move through some of the terrible that we all go through. I mean, it is all relative, but we all definitely go through things that are difficult. And we live in a world that, you know, for one reason or another, it seems increasingly chaotic and hard to comprehend sometimes. So I can't tell you how to get back to that place that you want to go, but I can tell you that there are, there are things that are the beginnings of disillusion of those kind of blockages that we have, right? And that is to find a way to find gratitude in our lives. Even if you have to force it at first. Doing I have 5 things every day, keeping a little notebook and writing them down, making it part of your routine. It might feel annoying or contrived or, just this isn't going to help with anything. But I promise you that gratitude is one of those things that it's like a sacred key that unlocks the heart. But it takes some time and dedication to it. Now, I see down here I'm looking at it as a rabbit. Kind of, it reminds me of like a jackrabbit, right? And another one over here. And if you've ever seen jackrabbits kind of fight with each other, they stand up on their hind legs and they kind of box almost. But I feel like this is with somebody who you love greatly, okay? And I think that this is because this conflict is happening because of love. And I feel like maybe there is something that this person is going through, and you've been trying to help with them or get through to them or whatever, but it's just this constant, back and forth conflict and not hearing one another, just kind of getting to that place where, the emotions are amplified and nobody's listening to each other at all. It's just, you're stuck in this mode of frenzy and just frustration. Okay. But then I kind of look at it also as 2 people with their arms raised, and we have these beautiful stars overhead. And here we even have a heart. Okay. So I feel that, you kind of also vacillate between this conflict and also, being absolutely in love with one another. And I don't mean romantically necessarily. I almost feel like this is a sibling or like a family member, a good friend. And they're going through something where you just want them to have some clarity. Like, look at this. Look at how this is affecting your life. I just want you to see that we can do something different with this. Okay? And, but you also have these moments where, you're laughing and crying and hugging and everything is good and normal and you remember why you keep trying with them, trying to get through. You're not going to give up on this person. But I will also say you have to have boundaries, right? You have to take care of yourself. Sometimes we put so much into trying to help others, we end up in these places where we can't figure out, why is it like this? If the universe were looking out for us, why is it like this? And I don't know. I don't have an answer for that either. But somewhere in there, you know, there's something. You know, and the other thing is we can't fix people. You know, I feel harsh when I say it on my readings, but the reality is nobody is going to save us, and we cannot save anybody. We can love, we can support, we need to have boundaries for our own protection and for the protection of others. Because if we don't, you get into that realm of kind of enabling. You get into the realm of, you know, maybe causing more harm than good. So I look at this and I think, you know, there is a lot of love. There is a lot of, you know, endless kind of connection here. But it needs to be thought about in a realistic way. This back and forth, this cycle, you know, maybe you choose to stay in it, you know, and there's no judgment there. But, you know, if things are going to work out and get to a place where, you know, there's more of the dancing and less of the fighting, something's got to change. Now, we also have a 10 up here. And so here, an interesting one. We have a person holding kind of, it looks like a wand with the solar, the circle, right? And then we have another person here holding a wand that has the lunar. So I do feel like there is this real movement towards trying to kind of combine. These are the lovers, right? The chemical wedding. This is the idea of like ultimate balance, the unification of opposites. And so I feel like, you know, you are the only way out of this wilderness that you found yourself in. Is to figure out, how are we going to find some balance in life? And I feel like, you know, you might be focused deeply on the spiritual aspects of it, the philosophical, existential doings and things like that. But I think, you know, also we have to remember that we have to get our life in order. You know, they say, as above, so below. So there is this fractal nature to all things, a mirroring on all levels. And so when our life is not working for us, of course our spiritual life is going to feel it, right? It's like if your house is out of order, you're living in, you know, chaos and piles of things and you know, garbage and so on, you're gonna feel that mentally and psychically. You know, that old saying that the way that we live, our outer environment often is a reflection of the state of our minds. Now, I don't know if that's completely true, right? But I do know that if my house is in chaos, if it is absolutely, you know, everything's all over the place, I instantly feel anxiety walking into a room like that. When I don't know where things are, like right now, we just moved in. I'm still unpacking. It's been a month, I know, but you know, it takes time. That's my excuse. But when there's something that like we're looking for and I'm like, I don't know if that's in the basement, if it's in the garage, if it's in, you know, wherever, it's like this rising feeling of anxiety, you know? And so I feel like this really, it's a call to making sure that things are as you know, in the most ideal configuration as you can. Now, this doesn't have to be your house, right? I'm not talking, this is an example. But I'm saying if you are, for instance, working doubles all the time, right? You're working a lot of overtime. You're not sleeping a lot. Maybe you've been eating quick things and you're not feeling the best physically. And then you're sitting there and you're thinking, why do I feel so crummy? But also, why do I feel so lost, like spiritually? You know, I feel disconnected from my faith. I feel disconnected from my practices. Well, yeah, you're busy. You're not getting enough rest, restorative sleep. It's affecting probably, I would say, your mental health to some degree, right? I'm not a doctor. I'm not certified or licensed in anything. So just, you know, I'm just some silly person on the internet. But yeah, I imagine it would affect your mental health, which in turn is going to affect your spiritual life, right? So look at what's going on in your life right now, in this mundane, everyday, whatever it is. See if you can find something that has changed kind of fairly recently, or yeah, maybe there's something going on that is a stressor. It's affecting all of the rest of the things in your life. If you see that, like if it's very apparent or not, and start doing some adjusting, because that's important. It's important to have the foundation. We have to have a strong foundation to work from. All right, let's see. Now we have a tree, beautiful tree, actually. We have another heart. We have a person dancing. So I feel as, you know, that just as this time is going on, as you are kind of resorting some things, and I feel like, I also think maybe there's an anniversary coming up here. Here's the weird thing about life, right? There's that book. I've never read it, but I've read little pieces of it. And it's that book. It's called The Body Keeps the Score, right? So I don't know if there's anything controversial in there. I'm not promoting necessarily, but I like the idea of at least the title and the things that I've read, the excerpts I've read. And it is that your body remembers things, even if the conscious mind doesn't necessarily keep track of it. It does, but we don't always put it together, right? So sometimes, like for me, I have a few months of my year and I'm laughing because it feels like a lot, but I've had a lot of people pass away in my life. My parents, my first husband, best friends, two of my best friends in the same year, and and a lot of other people, just because of the culture I kind of was into for a while. And I'll just say there's a lot of, you know, I'm in recovery for substance abuse. So there are quite a number of people I've known that have passed away since I was, you know, 15 on, because of substances and also unaliving themselves, unfortunately. And so anyways, you know, I'll get to these times a year where some of the really important people in my life have passed away. I don't necessarily even think about the dates consciously until I start feeling, I don't know, you know, kind of melancholy, depressed, maybe lethargic, or I want to sleep more, or I'm not sleeping well enough, or I'm just feeling off. And I think, my goodness, am I getting sick again? What's going on? But then it's like, I start to realize, oh, wait, what's the date? And then I look and I see, oh, it's a birthday. Or, oh, okay, so this is, you know, that's coming up in like 2 days or whatever. And your body knows, right? Your body knows. A lot of times before your mind even is like, oh, yes, okay, there's the thing. You know, and so, I think that as you kind of you're working on figuring out, how do I adjust these things in my life, right? How do I reconfigure whatever's going on here? Looking for, what is the root? Maybe it is an anniversary, because it feels like it could be. Of something. I don't know what. But I do feel like, you know, as you find some clarity to what is the larger picture here? What is the thing? What is going on? And how is it all tied together? You know? And I feel that there will be really an ease. Not only an ease, but we also have this phallic symbol here. So I feel like definitely a return to a lot of inspiration, creativity, vitality. Okay? We have dancing, joy. A sense of joy returning. Okay? We also have the tree. And to me, it's a beautiful, beautiful, like, shade tree, right? But also a real sign of legacy and stability and consistency. And I keep thinking, remembering myself. Remembering who I am. I'm not going to get knocked around by life. Right? Or maybe I will, but I'm still going to get up. Nothing is going to keep me down. And that's really the vibe. And I feel, you know, a movement into a time of being able to make something of this. Sublimation, right? Taking the difficult stuff and turning it into something beautiful. Creating with it. And so let's see what we have here. And we have a square, okay? So the square is like that old saying, everything squared away on the square. Everything as it should be, getting that square perfected, the foundation perfected, things coming together into perfection. Or at least, you know, something similar to perfection. We also have an arrow going up. So I see this, through the strength, there is a rising. Oh, and you know what? We saw that. We saw the sun and the moon on the wands. I didn't even think about it. It's on here too. So there, it is reflected in here and on the card. Beautiful. So we have a rising of energy, lifting up. And I feel, yes, oh, we have the fish and we have a person reaching for a bird. Now the bird is a message. So I feel like you have something to say. You have something to share with people. So maybe this is that sublimation, and maybe there is some opportunity that you will create for yourself to maybe have like a channel. Maybe you would start doing videos, or you know, maybe write something, or make some kind of art to share with the world. You have something to say. And I feel like all of this is kind of moving towards that time when you do. You complete something to put out there. And with the fish, there's an abundance here. So I feel like there is a real sense of a lot of inspiration. Once you get that ball rolling, you're just going to go with it. And it's going to come so easily for you. All right. Let's see. We have the Wild Offering Oracle cards. A 52 card deck on giving it all to God. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip through. Stop where it feels right. It says patience. If you've tried forever to shift a problem, there's probably something to learn from embracing it. May I let this be for now. Help me relax and trust every need will be met. Often change soon follows. Often change soon follows. All right. If you've ever tried forever to shift a problem, there's probably something to learn from embracing it. May I let this be for now. Help me relax and trust every need will be met. Often change soon follows. And that's what it is. Yes, I think that really, I mean, it fits the vibe of the reading, you know, and this is kind of, I feel like in that first image we saw, sitting and contemplating, right? Trusting that things will come as they should. And knowing that, you know, sometimes we can't do anything in this moment. I'll just be in it. I'll sit in it. I'll feel it. And I will. I'll think it over. Not ruminate about it, but contemplate it. But it will change. Everything passes. Everything changes. We're always in a state of change, of movement, even if it's not perceivable. But it is. It will shift. All right, Aquarius, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you, because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I'd love to hear from you. And so now I'm going to go to bed. We all have contracted the flu. I don't know if Paul has. He seems like he has, but and shout out to Paul over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. That's my husband. He's amazing. Go check him out if you've not seen him. I'm sure you have, but if you haven't for some reason, go check out his readings. He's just so talented. But yeah, so he's like very stoic about his not feeling well. So I kind of can see that maybe he doesn't feel good, but we'll see. I've been recording for the last few hours, so we'll see how he feels when I get off of work here. And yeah, just lots of rest. My daughter's got it the worst, though. Poor girl. Thankfully, you know, her birthday's coming up here in a few weeks, and I told her, you know, this is kind of the ordeal we have to go through. Thankfully, it was not on your birthday, right? So we'll get some sleep, take our vitamins and supplements, and hope that it just goes quickly. All right, Aquarius, I love you. Thank you. And we'll talk in a few days. Good night.